Hello everyone, I'm Kevin Piland. Thank you for joining us. It is sad for me to talk about this, but I might as well now. Stuart Scott, the man who I enjoyed watching on SportsCenter when I wasn't watching music videos or anything like that, has died at the age of 49. He died as a result of a battle with cancer. I have seen him on the countdowns, like before the Monday Night Football thing comes on. I've seen him do that. Now he doesn't get to do that anymore, and that's really sad. He was a man that you wouldn't even know if he had a problem or not. You just wouldn't know. I'm sure if he did have a problem, he'd talk to somebody about it, but he never let ESPN know, or let alone any viewers know if he had a problem or not. But the one thing that makes me very sad about people when they die is they don't always get the chance to retire. And that, I think, is unfair to them. Because people should be allowed to retire before they die. The reason I bring this up is because there's another lady that I'm going to talk to you about as well. I didn't get a chance to do a tribute for her because I didn't know she was dead until 4 months later, back in 2014. She died in 2013, in December. I was a next-door neighbor of hers back when I was in high school. She was a really great lady. I went to church with her and got to know her. And she was a next-door neighbor worth talking to, even after we moved away from where we lived at before. Norma Jones was a really nice lady. That's her name, by the way. Her husband still talks to me on the phone from time to time. In fact, I was talking to him on the phone when I found out she was dead. I didn't know she was dead until 4 months later because he forgot my number, which he did apologize to me for, and I forgive him for that. And because of that, we still talk to each other every day anyways, when we can. You know. But the reason I brought her up is because she retired from teaching, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm wrong, I apologize, but the fact still remains. She did retire from a job she did before. And that was my main point. She had the chance to retire. Stuart Scott did not. And that upsets me. I wanted people out there like him to be treated with the same respect that everyone else should be treated with. Even Tom Brokaw himself. He retired from doing NBC Nightly News, but however, NBC decided to let him be a correspondent. You know, he got to do more than you thought. He even did a show on behalf of NBC Sports Network about where he grew up in and what life was like when he was a kid, you know. Peter Jennings, on the other hand, he did not retire, but that was on him. He had lung cancer, but still continued to do the news, just like Stuart Scott continued to do SportsCenter before he died. You know? Knowing that Peter Jennings and Stuart Scott each died of cancer was something that I had to keep in mind when doing this show as well. I'm not sure what kind of cancer Stuart Scott had, but I know that Peter Jennings had lung cancer because he smoked, but he didn't let any viewers know. And I can appreciate him for wanting his privacy to be respected, as many of us deserve it. Even I deserve it too. So it's not a big deal to say that he did anything wrong by not saying it to anybody that he smoked, but, you know. I will say this, it's a good idea not to smoke. I've never smoked, and I've never drank. And because of that, you should be proud of me for that, to say the least. You know? But here's the age-old question. Why is it that not everybody gets to retire before they die? Well, that's because a lot of times, in some parts of the country, you can't retire until you're like, what, 65? You know, that's the downside. We need to change the way we think about retirement for the better. And no, I'm not talking about IRAs here. I'm talking about age limits here. Because sometimes age limits aren't always the answer, as I just learned recently when Stuart Scott passed away. You know, sometimes people die before they have the chance to retire because their body can't handle what it should have. Most people would understand what it's like to not be able to prepare for what's ahead. You know, if Norma Jones can do it, why couldn't anybody else do that? If that was the problem. Which means the question is, if she could retire, why couldn't he? Well, that was due to an age limit. And so, to pay my respects for both Norma and Stuart Scott, I decided to do this show on behalf of both in a different way. Normally, I would add music to the show, but instead, I'm going to do something different today. Instead, I'm going to tell you what happened in a different way. You see, Norma Jones died of old age because she got old. She died 5 days after my mom's birthday in 2013. And I didn't find out about it until 4 months later. As I mentioned, it's because he forgot my number, and if he had remembered it, he would have called me and told me what happened. But, you know, but he did apologize to me, and I forgave him for that. So that was good news on that. Now, I will say this. I said to Robert that although I didn't get a chance to go to the funeral, let alone make any tributes like I did with my younger brother when he passed away, I will say this. Norma would have wanted me to get a job, and that's what I did. I got a job at Sears, and I told him about it, and he couldn't be more happier. So he understood where I was coming from, and that meant a lot to me as well. So I'm going to do something a little bit different at the end of the show. I'm going to show you a This Is SportsCenter commercial that features Stuart Scott, so you can remember him. As for Norma, well, he says that, you know, it's okay if I don't show her picture on YouTube, so I can deal with that. But telling you about her is what made me stronger than I already was at the beginning. Before I do that, though, I want to talk to you about Mike Huckabee for a second. You see, he has done a show that I couldn't go without watching also. Not only was he a former gun owner, he was also a bass player, and he enjoyed playing music with half of the bands that appeared on the show. Fox News, however, decided it would be best that he cancel the show. In good terms. And that's what he did. He canceled his show on good terms, because with him planning to run for president sometime later in spring, why would he want to do a report on himself? That's not the way Fox News would have wanted to do it, and that's why they asked him for it. It was a request worth making. It's sad to see him go from television to going back to being a governor, but I'm glad that he enjoyed doing what he was doing. In fact, Norma enjoyed watching Huckabee because it was her favorite show on TV. Besides the fact that he was a governor, he played music, and that's what made her tune in almost every day. And that's why I brought Huckabee up to begin with. And as promised, here's one of my favorite This Is SportsCenter commercials that featured Stuart Scott. I want to thank you for watching the show.
All right, stay with me, Chad. Touchdown, Chad Johnson. Then you go into one of these sizzling bacon action.
Are you serious? If I did that in public, I'd find myself. Next.
You can find out. Contact Matt in facilities. He'll help you out.
And one more thing. There's a glitch in the AC. The air conditioning is broken. It's going to shut down tonight at 5 o'clock. Seriously, we have got to get this glass frosted.
Yep.
Hey, Stuart, you use my razor?
What? No.
No?
No.
Carl, what about you? Sorry, I didn't touch it. You didn't touch it. What's up, man? Josh?
No, dude.
So no one used my razor. The hair got here all by itself. That's what we're saying. Okay.
What are you doing? Like, what do you mean?
What's going on, guys?
Josh, what's up, man?
Excuse me. What's up with him?
A couple of those home run derby balls you hit?
Yeah.
They were his cousins.